Welcome back to Against My Better Judgment, the podcast where two friends,
I'm Tamara Golden.
and I'm Dannelle Whiteside, tell the truth, share the lessons, and laugh about the moments that we knew better, but did it anyway. Each week we share real stories about our lives, about the times that life surprised us, stressed us, or just straight up humbled us, and the lessons that we learned along the way.
And this season is a season of just because. And today, Dannelle will be talking to us about...
Just because I can do a lot doesn't mean I can do everything.
Won't he, Willie? That is... Whew, I feel like I can have this conversation at least once a month.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to
But
it.
I'm going to take a different take on it.
Okay.
Well, I don't know what you think about it because we can talk about it, but my take is going to be
Okay.
what it is. So, but before we jump in, how was your week, or what do you want to tell us?
It was, it was a good week. It was a unique week in that I hung out with some of my neighbors. So a lot of times when my neighbors are doing something, it just doesn't work. But there's a group of them that I really, really like. The timing, and I hate it because it seems like I don't want to. But this is one of those times where the timing worked out, because it was also a gathering where it was with adult neighbors. Like, a lot of our interactions are with the kids and their families. And so those group things, and I'll go through them, I'll pass through maybe, but I don't usually bend my back to join or anything like that. But this was one at one of my neighbor Zuri's house. So it's kind of neat. So I met some neighbors that I never met before. And I learned some interesting things, like people buying their own wedding rings. And
Wait a minute.
Yes.
Where are they doing that?
And Miami. I'm telling you, Zuri was confident. She had on this like rubber band around her finger. And I noticed.
Is she married?
Yes. And I'm like,
Okay.
I noticed the rubber band, but I'm like, I was going to let it go, Dannelle. As one of my friends say, just because you think it doesn't mean you have to say it. So I was going to let it go. But something came up, and I don't know how we got to this conversation about this ring. And so she made a decision, because she knew her husband is very price conscious. He's not cheap. He's not.
That's a great way to put it.
Just frugal, just, cost conscious. And so she knew the ring that she wanted. And Dannelle, she went and bought that ring because his mama, now this is where I may be taking some liberties, but what I remember is his mama pulled out a ring. Like, he was going to propose and it was planned or something. His mama pulled out a ring and no. It was like one of her
Why is his mama in it?
I don't know about all that, but this just tripped me out. So anyway, I'm getting to know my neighbors.
I see.
So how was your...
Sometimes you don't need to tell, as my mama says, you need to tell some and keep some.
But I like
That's a keep some.
But there's a story in there about figuring out a way to get what you want. And that's the mediator in me, I guess. Anyway, that's a whole different story. But there's a lot I can appreciate about it, but there's also a lot I'm not having. Anyway.
Wouldn't be me.
I almost didn't tell you that. I almost just said I went out to eat and just twiddle my thumbs and bought a flower or something.
Oh,
anyway,
man.
How was your weekend?
Well, I don't want to talk about my weekend. I actually want to shout out my nephew, because a few weeks ago I went to visit him.
Oh, hey, nephew.
He's doing so well, David. And he is in his junior year now at college. And so I went to visit him at college because I hadn't been yet.
Wait, did you just call him David?
Yes, that's his first. His middle name is Jaron. We always call him Jaron.
I'm like,
but
oh my God, she has another nephew that I didn't know about. I'm like,
he has now, he's grown up, so he's going by David, his first name. So he's like, it was just so cool. I spent the night in his dorm room. Like, I had a real college experience. In his bed.
Where did he sleep?
On the floor.
He was ready for you to
He
go.
said, well, the funny thing is, he was like, no, auntie, I got an air mattress. And I was like, for him. He was like, I'll let you sleep in my bed and then I'll sleep on the air mattress. And then he went out and partied that night because he's a member of a fraternity and they brought in a new line. And so I was able to go to the new line presentation. And then he and I went out to dinner, but then I was like, don't babysit me. You go have fun. And so he didn't get in till probably like 3 or something in the morning. So I woke up and he was laying on the floor. And I was like, no, I thought you said you had an air mattress. And he was like, yeah, I was just so tired. I just put a blanket down and lay down. Tired or had lots.
Don't worry about all that.
Right.
What about, did he have those sheets clean?
Everything was clean.
That's what I'm talking about,
there.
David.
His room was clean. I was like, okay, I'm so proud of you. It was very presentable.
He's a David.
It was very cozy.
Like it.
He was. I had a really good night's sleep too. I did. I just really felt like I was back in college. And
You're excited.
I was like, oh, I had a good night's sleep. And
oh, God.
like I said, when I woke up, he was there. So I was like, okay, I feel good. He's safe. And then we got up and the next day he took me on a tour of the campus, and then I flew back home. Okay. So it was a very quick visit. I just wanted to lay my eyes on him. But when I tell you, when he dropped me off at that airport, I cried like a baby. I cried. I was like, what is wrong with you? I texted my sister-in-law and I was like, well, I don't know how you're doing this.
What is wrong with you? Crying like a baby.
Oh, no, girl. I hope you're not talking about that.
I don't know.
Because that ain't it.
You will show up with a baby all of a sudden.
Girl,
I see you every
let's
week.
Change the subject.
Yeah,
You didn't
all
went
right.
well beyond where we were supposed to go.
Anyway.
Anyway, I'm so proud of him. Glad I got to have that experience. And,
I love it.
So proud of him. Anyway. All right. You just threw me off.
So? You throw people off. Poor Andre don't know what to think. She crying.
So the topic is
anyway.
what? The topic is just because I can do a lot doesn't mean I can do everything. And one of the things about being a woman, I think women just know how to shoulder a lot. We just kind of know how to get things done. I think that also comes with being black too. We just we gonna roll with what we got. Yeah. And because of that, I think people don't recognize that there are limitations to that. And so I want to talk a little bit about my motherhood journey in this, because that's when I really realized okay, you have a limit. So when I had Donovan, I was so one of the things that I would pray when I was pregnant with him was God, increase my capacity, because I felt like I was a busy professional, working woman, wife, and I was involved in a lot of organizations and had a lot of friends, and I was just I don't see how, I could not see how I was gonna fit a child in this world. And so I would pray God, increase my capacity. When I get home from work every day, I'm tired. How am I going to do this? How am I going to be tired and then be mom?
It's the prayer of Jabez.
Listen. And so so when he came, after about the first year, I was okay, God really did that. I felt I didn't feel like I had it figured out, but I just felt I was able to expand in what I could do. Not taking for granted that I still had a lot of help, but I still felt okay, I got this. I expanded to meet what the demands required. Then I had a second child. And what ended up happening was, because my mom kept Donovan every day. So while I was at work.
I'm with you.
And so then when I had Shannon, she was well, if you're on leave, they can both be with you. So for the first 6 weeks, of course, she came and helped me. And then for the next 6 weeks, my best friend Jason, who is real, Tamara's never met him before, so she's he's not real, but he is a real person. He came and stayed with us for 6 weeks. And then after that, my mom was okay, you on your own. Pretty much. And so I was
had you at one kid, but
yeah, two. I was afraid. There would be times when I would be by myself with them, and I was just I'm scared. I feel I can't do this. And I think I also had some postpartum issues that I didn't really know about. Postpartum anxiety is one of them. And the other thing is, at the time, my husband was working a job where he was working, I think, 1 p.m. to 9 p.m.
Oh, yeah.
So every evening I was with the two of them by myself. And that was the hardest because you're getting baths for both of them. And then you have to feed the baby. And then while I'm feeding him and putting him down, Donovan's out there running around. So it was like, I couldn't get my hands on what was required. And then I started thinking like, I'm about to go back to work soon. Like I cannot and so I think I was faced with this moment of like, I can do a lot, but I think I've reached the end of my capacity. Mm-hmm. So that moment taught me how to ask for help. And that's what I want to talk about today is just learning how to ask for help. Are you good at asking for help?
Not at all.
See? And I don't know if it's a woman thing. I don't know if it's a black woman thing. I don't know what it is. But I'm going to tell you this. I will hurt myself before I ask somebody to help me who could help me from hurting myself. You see what I'm saying? Like I don't even know why that is.
And I will say it's interesting because one of our episodes was going to be just because I don't ask for help doesn't mean I don't need it. Mm-hmm. And so I think we can just tie it into here because my thing sometimes with asking for help, it's kind of like if you see me with the box in my hand and I'm walking into the UPS store. The box is in both of my hands. Like a lot of times I feel like, why do I have to ask for help? You see I need help.
Right.
And I'm glad you bring this up because it's a frustration of mine in a lot of ways. I don't not ask for help because I don't need help. It's two reasons I don't. One, it's because I hate the idea of putting somebody out. I hate the idea of
inconveniencing someone.
Yes, like I needed a ride to the doctor because I didn't know that I was going to be put under anesthesia. And it took everything in me to ask somebody to take me. Mind you, the person who took me was thrilled to take me. I'd taken her to the doctor like twice that year because it was either take her to the doctor or take the boys to school. That was a no-brainer. But my point is it still took so much out of me to ask for help. The other thing is a personal thing. It's a me issue. Because I get so frustrated when people see me doing stuff where I say, oh, I'm going to do this today. To me, they know that I need help and they don't say, oh, well, I'll come help you out or, oh. So to me, I just feel like sometimes the way I say something, it's like, you should say like, hey, you want me to come hold the ladder? Like I'm getting ready to install a ceiling fan. I'm about to knock that out. But I've mentioned it a few times and I don't need help. But it would be nice to have somebody hold the ladder or something in case I get electrocuted or something. But
you need me to hold the ladder?
Maybe. But the thing is that idea of I don't, and that's a me problem. Yeah. I just if I can at all do it, I'm gonna not ask for help. So what's your rationale?
So I don't really know. I must have been made to feel at some point that I couldn't ask for help, or because the other thing is, if I ask you for help and you make me feel like I've inconvenienced you, I will never ask for your help again, ever. And that's a pride thing too, but that I feel very strongly about that. But anyway, so once I had reached the end of my rope, I was able to reach out to, and I found a mother's helper. So I had a young lady who would come in the evenings and just help me with the boys. Mm-hmm. And then one of the things that scared me so bad when I had Ronan, baby number 3, was like, oh my gosh, I don't want to be back there. Because I remember how I felt, just like, and so my whole strategy when I was pregnant with Ronan was just like, okay, what do I need to put in place? Like I was actually looking at trying to have an au pair, a live-in nanny, like somebody, because I was like, I can't be feeling like that again. But I was able to find, help in the ways that I needed. So help with laundry, help with cleaning the house, So my thing is this, when you can do a lot, but when you cannot, it is okay for you to acknowledge what the end of your rope is, where the end of your capacity is. And it is okay to ask someone to help you to meet the gap in between where your capacity ends and where you need to meet the responsibility.
What are your thoughts about figuring out your capacity?
What do you mean, like how you figure it out? Or
no, not about how, but I always think about, like, when I make a list, I'm going to do everything on the list. But I always add that number 10 that I know is almost impossible, but I know I'm going to do it. And that is how I do it. I do it frequently.
Yeah.
And it's something in my brain. Like, if somebody runs 23 miles, and I've done that before, I don't want to run 23 miles again. I want to run, I want to run 30 or.
Yeah. I think you have to learn to give yourself grace because there are times when you can set an impossible standard or an unnecessary standard.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, it's about to be Teacher Appreciation Week. I could go out and make a huge basket for each of these teachers, but I don't have that kind of time. So you know what? I'm going to give myself grace. They don't want them baskets anyway. They just want a card with some money in it or a gift card.
I just want that gift card.
We could do elaborate, I could do elaborate birthday parties or what have you, but what you acknowledging, like, what's required, what meets the minimum, and being okay sometimes with meeting the minimum. I was just talking to Jason on my way over here today, and he was like, you always doing the most. And that is the characteristic that I have of doing extra that's not necessary. And so, but understanding that you don't always have to do that and giving yourself grace, because that impossible standard is set in your mind. Mm-hmm. And so, who's 23 miles is fine. You ran 20, the grace is knowing you ran 23 miles. Like, congratulate yourself for that. Mm-hmm. Instead of saying, oh, I can do 30 next time. Like, no, you give yourself credit. And I think that is part of it too, of like understanding that you can do just because I can do a lot, but doesn't mean I can do everything, but you do a lot. Mm-hmm. And that is good.
Yeah.
And then I think that ties also into work too, because I can do a lot and I do a lot at work. But sometimes I have to say, no, that doesn't belong on my plate.
So what are your guardrails?
At work?
No, what are your guardrails?
Or just in general?
Yeah.
So I think we talked about that last season, the sacred no and holy yes. Mm-hmm. I've been really using that. And so if it's not giving me joy, I'm going to tell you no. Mm-hmm. And I am still going to struggle a little bit with that internally, but it's freed me up to do the things that really I love to do. I've just really been able to say, you know what, that just doesn't fit with what I need to do today. Mm-hmm. Or understanding that the kids' science project looks really good, mm-hmm. but we're not submitting it to a science fair journal. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just understanding, like, it's okay.
Because Donovan did do a good science fair project, though. I will give him.
Well, thank you.
I will give him kudos on that.
Yeah. So we just.
That's interesting. The sacred no, holy yes. My no is just not a sacred one, but I will say no in a minute. I will say no.
But is it because of capacity, or you just don't want to do it?
It depends. I just have learned to give myself the freedom to say no because I'm at capacity, because I don't want to do it, because I don't want to do it with who you want to do it with.
Yeah.
Because this is a day that I don't want to do it on that day. I don't want to do it because I feel like obligated to do it. That is something that was hard that has gotten much easier.
Yeah. I think it's just learning yourself and knowing how to protect your time. And like I said, giving yourself grace. Like, I can do a lot. Mm-hmm. But I don't, not only doesn't mean I can do everything, it also doesn't mean you have to do everything.
Yeah. I like that.
And then knowing when to ask for help, because there are some things that have to be done.
Correct.
And so for those things that have to be done, but you perhaps don't have the capacity for it, there are people who want to help you.
Yep.
There are people who want to drive you to the hospital.
Yep.
And understand that it's not an inconvenience for them. They want to be there for you.
That's very true.
And so when I learned that when I do ask for help, the answer usually is yes, that helped me to release some of the guilt for even asking. Yep. Like, it helped me to be like, no, there's like the young lady who was my mother's helper. She was a young lady, just graduated from college, needed the extra income. It was really good with kids and was really a great helper for me. So my asking for help was actually helping her out too. So just understand you're not a burden, because if the answer is no, they'll tell you no, and then you move on.
Yep.
But don't sit up there and stress yourself out.
And you did say something earlier that it's weird, because when you cough, I feel like I want to cough. But
sorry, guys.
Something you said earlier was, and I get it. I get the sentiment of it, but I want to make sure of this. Like, here's the thing. Just because you say if you were to ask me for help, I think there should be an understanding of, for people who love you and care about you, they want to say yes, right? They want to say yes. So when there is a time where I have to say no, that doesn't mean I'm ousted for you asking again, because my love language is help.
Yes, but there's a difference between, hey, I literally cannot do it, or girl, like, there's and that's what I'm fair. Talking about. The ones who make you feel like you were inconveniently asking, like, how dare you even ask me? Those are the people that don't worry about it.
Okay, because I remember I said no to Lauren recently about keeping one of the boys, just because I had something. But she knew that I was trying to rework it. And I had reworked it, and by the time I reworked it, she had figured something out. But she was very appreciative. She was like, well, thanks because she thought I just said I can't do it and moved on. But what I was doing my best to get to yes, so that's something important. Yeah. Gotcha. Okay. I just wanted to make sure. I'm like, that's a little extreme.
No.
All
right. So anything else?
No, I thought that was a really good conversation and reminder, and a good spin, because some of it's just on us.
Yeah. So, all right. So we're going to move on to We'll Be the Judge segment, where we give our qualified yet unqualified opinion.
These have been pretty good.
Yeah, I really do appreciate when you guys send us these questions, because it gives us something to talk about. So let's see. I have two, but I'm only going to do one.
Oh, two people. Okay. Yeah. Just whichever one you pick. Let's hear it.
So this one goes, I guess, to the question. This is related to the question. Okay. And this is Eva. She says, hey, Tamara and Dannelle, I need some advice. A few months ago, I agreed to go on a group vacation with some friends. At the time, it sounded fun and I was all in. But now that it's getting closer, I'm not feeling it, because my money is tighter than I expected. And I just can't go anymore. Nothing happened. I'm just not in the same place as I was when I said yes. Is it okay to back out now, or do I need to go since I committed already?
Okay. I mean, this is kind of an easy one for me in a hard way. So a lot of people are going to say you contradict yourself, because usually I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do. Like, you can bet on me. Like, barring something significant, I'm going to be where I say I'm going to be. I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do, barring something significant. And Eva, this is something significant. If you can't, then you just can't. If you cannot afford a trip, then you just can't. Now, could you have done something differently? Probably, but that's behind you now. And I'm very big on looking forward. The way in which you got to this point, I don't know, you didn't explain it, that's fine. But you have just said something. You said, I can't. And when you can't, you can't. Will your friends understand? I don't know. But if you can't go, you just can't go. And not having the money, because what I don't want to do, Eva, is show up on this trip with you, and you know our traveling expectations, and you you want to know if I'm going to finish my French fries or this type of stuff, or all of a sudden you just want to be in the hotel pool or, So if you can't go, you can't go.
This is hard because there's a part of me that's like, well, first of all, I have FOMO for everything. So it would be hard for me to say no, knowing that y'all are going to go on this trip without me. And then I'm going to.
Are you going to pay her way?
I can't. No, I got too much to do. But what I will say is, though, if you don't have the money, that's the answer. Like, you don't have the money, you cannot, unless you can phone a friend that's rich and can, send it to you, which is not me. I'm not that person. But if you have a person in your life who could, maybe.
No, because if you can't afford that trip, then you can't afford, if you can't afford it, you can't afford it.
If somebody can give you money and you can now afford it.
But she's missing, there's some other stuff.
Anyway, what I was also going to say is, be considerate of your friends. Your friends have probably put down deposits. They've made calculations that included your portion of the trip. So there might be a portion that you probably need to pay for things that you've already agreed to paying for. Yeah. Part of the hotel. That, things like that. You probably need to go ahead and say, I'll pay you my part. Mm-hmm. Understanding that you're saving because you're not spending on the trip itself. Like when you get there, meals and activities and things like that. But if you've made financial commitments, where it would make it hard for them to continue with the trip, that's the only thing that I would say you need to follow through with. But as long as you do that, then I think it's okay to say, hey, I can't go. But
that's a good one.
I'm holding you harmless by paying my portion of whatever I said I was going to do.
If you got it.
And if you don't, try to make them whole over time. Mm-hmm. Because like I said, they've put out, they've expended money and made different calculations based upon your participation. Correct. And, then they might say, oh, girl, it's okay. Don't worry about it. Yeah. And if that's the case, great.
Don't worry about it.
But if not, I would say you need to make them whole.
Yep. And let them know as soon as possible.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm sorry you can't go, girl. And,
yeah,
there'll be other trips.
There will be.
Outside is always open. We've said that before. So, all right, we're going to move on to the Against My Better Judgment segment. And Tamara, this one is on you.
So Dannelle, most people know that I love to read. I mean, I buy books. I just got a new book today, actually.
Okay.
I love to read. I read books. I listen to books. I love books. So there is a neighborhood book club. Mm-hmm. And I was really, really excited. They're at capacity, but when people drop off, you can kind of add on. So I'm kind of like one of those, I was going to be one of these overflow folks. Mm-hmm. So my neighbor told me about the book club. I was really, really excited. And I gave myself a pep talk. I was like, no matter what book it is, I am going to be a part of, and I am going to read this book, learn something different.
No matter what book it is.
No matter what book it is. So she told me the book. I was like, But I gave myself this pep talk. And I ordered the book. The book came. I didn't even think much about it. I just wanted to get the book ordered and move on. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of how it worked because I'm going to read it. So when the book came in, I read the back of that book. The beginning of the back said, preteen. Oh, no. It said preteen. And I reached out to my friend. She's one house down. I was like, this book, had you read the back? Oh, no, girl, I hadn't read the back. I said, it's preteen. And I said, look. And I said, listen, I am not going to read 400 pages of a preteen book. So I talked to Gabby. I was like, Gabby, I said the name of the book. Have you? Oh, yeah, I read it. It's okay. And Gabby's just 13. And I'm like, you know what I'm not going to do? Is this book club. So, against my better judgment, I committed to that book club.
And you backed out so fast.
Book one. But this month's book is Theo of Golden.
I don't know that.
I've read Theo Golden.
Oh, so now you want to be in it.
Yeah. They have stepped it up.
Fairweather member.
No, I couldn't possibly. Like, I never thought that it would be a preteen book. Like, nothing in my brain said, like, Babysitter's Club, Ramona. Like, nothing in my brain said that it would be a preteen.
How do they select?
So there's an event, and you bring a book and you bring a basket kind of that illustrates the book.
Girl.
I can only imagine what this person brought to illustrate the book. The basket must have been awesome because no. And that's how you do it. Like if it's a book about bread, it's like your basket can be like how to make sourdough bread, a book or a thing of bread or something like that. It's really creative, I guess. But I don't care. It's Theo of Gold, and I'm like, somebody agrees with me. They're not reading that preteen book. So anyway.
Are you back in it now?
Well, yeah.
You probably never got out.
Oh, I did. I don't think, well, let's be honest. I don't think I ever got in.
Okay.
Let me be clear.
Okay.
And I still don't think I'm in, but I can make a strong showing this month.
So how do you know if you're in?
Really, it's just a matter of somebody else dropping out. But so few people. I'm just waiting for somebody to officially drop off the list so that my friend's on the watch to put me in. And I have rumor that a neighbor may be dropping out. So it's just the timing because everybody's waiting for somebody else to get in.
This is so weird.
Yeah.
Just start your own.
I thought about that actually. So I don't know why I'm acting new. I thought about that and I was like, you know what? There's so many competing things. This is an opportunity for me to have a contact point of folks that do not necessarily think like me, act like me, live like me, process like me. So it's a good check and balance for me. So I really am putting myself out there to learn something different. And I'm like,
you're going to learn preteen things?
I just said Theo of Golden is this month. See, that's why I almost didn't tell you.
I'm just going to say I've been in one book club and I really enjoyed it. It ended up, though, we would just get together and we would be in there talking. Sometimes out of the book, sometimes not. And then our lives just kind of all went different directions. And so it disbanded. But I can't do a book club right now.
If it doesn't have anything to do with your dissertation, what I'm not going to read is a book about whatever you're doing your dissertation on. That's what we're not going to do.
But I will say, though, I think it is worthwhile, again, that since it's trying to bring that sense of community, but you need to make sure they're aligned to the subject matters that are of interest to you.
Be real clear. If they're not aligned, I'm aligned. Because what I'm not going to do, there are 5 books, right? 5 books. There's a book right, like, I have plenty of stuff to read. I'm just going to skip. They won't miss me.
Well, you're not in the group anyway.
That's right. So. I'm on the outside looking in anyway.
Well, enjoy Theo of Golden.
Thanks. It's a great book. I recommend you read it.
Yeah. Hope they have good snacks there too. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you once again for tuning in. If you want us to judge you and your abilities to go on trips with your friends, please send us an email at againstmybetterjudgmentpod@gmail.com or on Facebook and Instagram at againstmybetterjudgmentpod.
Yeah, and don't forget to like, click, subscribe. If you have a star in you, give us 5 of them.
Yes.
But we really, really appreciate y'all, and it feels so good to be back.
Yes, thank you, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.